Have you ever felt like the pain of losing someone or something important will never go away? As if you're trapped in a dark tunnel with no way out. Grief can consume you in ways you don't even realize. And worse, if you don't go through all the stages, you might carry that pain for the rest of your life. But does everyone really need to experience each stage? What happens if you get stuck in one of them? And, most importantly, how can you prevent grief from turning into deep depression? Today, I'm going to reveal what truly happens inside the mind of someone going through grief, the warning signs that it's becoming a bigger problem, and, most importantly, how to cope with this pain in a healthier way. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could change your life, or the life of someone you love. Grief is one of the most painful experiences a human being can go through. When we lose someone, a relationship, a job, or even a dream, our mind is thrown into an emotional whirlwind. It's not just sadness. It's a mix of shock, anger, guilt, despair, and, for many, a void so immense that it feels impossible to fill. Psychiatrist Elisabeth Kübler-Ross identified 5 main stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. These stages don't follow a fixed order for everyone, and some people might even skip certain phases. But there's a problem. If you don't go through all of them, you could end up trapped in pain for much longer than you realize. And that's exactly what we're going to explore now. Let's understand how each stage works and what can happen if you get stuck in one of them. Denial is the first reaction many people have when faced with loss. Our mind simply refuses to accept reality. It's a natural defense mechanism that helps us absorb the pain gradually. Some people continue acting as if nothing has happened, avoiding any conversation about the loss or even creating a parallel reality where it doesn't exist. Others keep themselves extremely busy to avoid thinking about what happened, throwing themselves into work or other activities as a distraction. Some go as far as erasing any reminders of the person or situation they lost, removing photos from their home, avoiding places they used to visit together, or even denying their own emotions entirely. But here's the danger. Staying stuck in denial prevents you from truly facing the pain. Some people spend years pretending everything is fine, trying to move on without actually processing their feelings. Suppressed grief can manifest in different ways, such as intense anxiety, panic attacks, and even physical symptoms like insomnia or chronic pain. Ignoring reality doesn't make the pain disappear. On the contrary, it only makes it harder to deal with in the future. It's like an open wound that, instead of healing, continues to fester silently. Once reality starts to sink in, anger follows. Anger at yourself, at others, at fate, at God. You begin to question everything. Why did this happen to me? Or this isn't fair. Often, this anger has no specific target. It can manifest as aggression, impatience, or even unexpected emotional outbursts. Some people take it out on those around them, unknowingly pushing away friends and family. Others turn their anger inward, drowning in guilt and self-destruction. And do you know what's even worse? Sometimes, this anger hides behind a fake smile, making it seem like the person is fine when, deep down, they are boiling inside. Small everyday frustrations can become triggers, and the tiniest situation can spark an emotional explosion. It's like carrying a volcano inside you, always on the verge of erupting. But if you don't learn to deal with this anger, you risk pushing people away and feeding a cycle of guilt and frustration. Holding on to resentment is like gripping a burning coal, expecting someone else to get burned, but in the end, you're the one who suffers the most. Anger is a normal stage of grief, but it's important to recognize when it's taking control of you. The key isn't to suppress it, but to release it in a healthy way, whether through conversation, therapy, or activities that help you channel this energy without letting it consume you. This is a delicate stage. Bargaining is the moment when we try to find a way to reverse the loss. Thoughts like these may arise. If I had arrived earlier, this wouldn't have happened. If I become a better person, maybe I can get back what I lost. At this stage, many people attempt to negotiate with fate, with God, or with any higher power, hoping to change reality. It's as if our mind is searching for a plan B, trying to rewrite events that have already taken place. More often than not, this leads to an overwhelming sense of guilt because the person feels they could have somehow prevented the loss, even if they rationally know it wasn't possible. Additionally, some individuals start making empty promises just to ease their pain. If I change, maybe this pain will go away. Or, if I had been more present, maybe none of this would have happened. This stage can be dangerous, as it can trap someone in a cycle of self-judgment and suffering, constantly imagining a different outcome. Another risk of bargaining is that it can lead to destructive behaviors. Some people try to compensate for their pain by overworking themselves, distancing themselves from family, or seeking comfort in harmful habits, such as alcohol or substance abuse. It's an unconscious way of avoiding real pain, attempting to fill a void that, in reality, must be faced. It's crucial to understand that bargaining won't bring back the person or the situation you lost. What's done cannot be undone, but what you do from this moment forward can transform your healing journey. This is one of the most dangerous moments in the grieving process. The depression stage is not just sadness, it is a deep emptiness, a lack of motivation to move forward. A person in this phase may isolate themselves, lose interest in everything, feel completely drained, and, in some cases, even believe that life has lost all meaning. The days pass by like a thick fog, and nothing seems to have color or significance. The weight of loss becomes unbearable, and the overwhelming feeling that happiness will never return can take over the mind. At this stage, grief can turn into prolonged depression, bringing risks such as anxiety disorders, panic attacks, and, in more severe cases, suicidal thoughts. The problem is that, unlike the other stages, grief-related depression can feel endless if left unaddressed. The person begins to believe they will never feel okay again, as if they are trapped in a bottomless pit. If you or someone you know has been stuck in this phase for a long time, do not ignore the signs. Seeking professional help can be the difference between drowning in pain and finding a new sense of purpose. You don't have to go through this alone. There are people who care about you and who can help lighten this burden. Acceptance does not mean forgetting or no longer feeling longing. It means understanding that life continues and that you can find new reasons to move forward. At this stage, the pain still exists, but it no longer dominates every thought throughout the day. The person begins to reorganize their routine and rebuild their identity without what they lost. But what happens if someone never reaches this stage? What happens if you don't go through all the stages? If someone remains stuck in one of the earlier stages, grief becomes an open wound that never heals. This can lead to chronic depression, physical health problems, pain, high blood pressure, insomnia, social isolation, persistent guilt and resentment, difficulty forming new relationships. The pain of loss never fully disappears, but if you don't allow yourself to go through the necessary process, it can consume you forever. Grief is painful, but it is a natural part of the human experience. Going through all the stages is essential to moving forward without carrying an unbearable weight for the rest of your life. If you are going through this right now, know that you are not alone. With time, the right support, and, if needed, professional help, this pain can transform into something that doesn't destroy you but makes you stronger. If this video resonated with you, leave a like, and in the comments, share your experience with grief. Who knows, we might be able to help each other. Subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And look, there's another video on the screen right now that can help you even more. Don't leave without watching it. See you there.